It has been almost a week since Ukraine lost its first F-16 fighter jet. However, the debate about the nature and causes of the destruction of such a valuable combat aircraft is still ongoing in the West and Ukraine. My friends, let me remind you that Ukraine lost its F-16 fighter jet on August 26, 2024. It happened at 5 a.m. Moscow time, in the sky over Odessa, during a sortie to intercept and destroy Russian cruise and ballistic missiles. Back then, after this incident, the deputy of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine Mariana Bezygleya sharply criticized the country's military department. Moreover, she also accused Ukrainian generals of lying and spreading cheap propaganda. In addition, referring to her own sources in the Ukrainian General Staff, she in all seriousness stated that the combat crew of the American Patriot air defense missile system destroyed the F-16 fighter jet. This statement by the Ukrainian politician has the effect of a bombshell in Ukraine and the West. It came so far that even the Air Force commander, Lieutenant General Nikolai Olshchuk, began to accuse Mariana Bezygleya of betrayal, and even threatened her with imprisonment. However, the loss of such a valuable combat aircraft by the Ukrainian Air Force harmed Lieutenant General Nikolai Olshchuk himself. As it turned out, 3 days after the destruction of the F-16 fighter jet over Odessa, the head of the Kiev regime, Vladimir Zelensky, signed a decree about the dismissal of Lieutenant General Nikolai Olshchuk from the post of commander of the Ukrainian Air Force. In his place, the head of the Kiev regime appointed Lieutenant General Anatoly Krivonazka. As for Mariana Bezygleya's statement about the destruction of the F-16 fighter jet by the combat crew of the American Patriot air defense missile system, this version is being questioned not only by Ukrainian military experts, but also by numerous representatives of Western analytical centers. Even though the statement of the Ukrainian deputy was recognized as one of the official versions of the crash of an American combat aircraft, many military experts explicitly stated that the F-16 fighter jet was not shot down by the combat crew of the Patriot air defense missile system. Moreover, the investigative team involved in the investigation of the crash of the F-16 fighter jet in Ukraine has already stated that based on the available data, it is unlikely that friendly fire from the American Patriot air defense system was the reason for the destruction of this combat aircraft. The investigative team involved in the investigation explicitly stated that the destruction of the F-16 fighter jet most likely occurred due to other factors. According to this investigative team, Ukraine could have lost the F-16 as a result of a technical malfunction of a combat aircraft, pilot error, or enemy fire from an enemy air defense system or the fighter jet. The popular American edition of the New York Times also added oil to the fire. In particular, this American newspaper, in its article, published statements by two high-ranking U.S. military officials, who directly stated that the F-16 fighter jet was not destroyed by friendly fire from the Patriot air defense missile system in Ukraine. Most likely, these high-ranking American military made a similar statement due to the fact that Western air defense systems located on the territory of Ukraine have the Friend-Orfo system, thanks to which friendly fire on their own combat aircraft is simply not possible. Against this backdrop, the Turkish press began to vigorously discuss the statement of Turkish intelligence officials, as well as prominent representatives of the intelligence community of this country. In particular, they stated that on August 26, 2024, in the sky over Odessa, an American F-16 fighter was destroyed by a stealthy Russian fifth-generation fighter jet Su-57. According to them, a Russian fighter jet destroyed the F-16 from a record distance of 270 kilometers. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Most likely, to destroy the American fighter jet, the Su-57 used an upgraded air-to-air missile R-37M, capable of hitting targets at a distance of up to 400 kilometers. It is reported that the Su-57 destroyed the American F-16 while in the airspace of the Crimea. However, even in this case, enemy air defense systems failed to see the latest Russian fifth-generation fighter jet on their radars. Commenting on what happened in the sky over Odessa, Turkish experts noted that the pilot of the F-16, Lieutenant Colonel Alexei Mas, did not even realize that he and his fighter jet were destroyed by the Su-57 from a record distance. The fact that the latest Russian fifth-generation Su-57 fighter jets are actively involved in the fighting in Ukraine is no secret. Earlier, American military experts from the authoritative publication Military Watch called the latest Russian fighter Su-57 the record holder for the range of destruction of enemy aircraft. According to them, Russia is actively using its latest fighters in the Ukrainian conflict, constantly improving their tactical and technical characteristics. American experts have admitted that Ukraine regularly loses its remaining aircraft precisely because of the actions of the latest Russian fifth-generation Su-57 fighter jets. At the same time, experts claim that even the Ukrainian military themselves often do not understand what destroyed their combat aircraft. Very often, Ukrainian aircraft are destroyed at a distance of 200 to 350 kilometers from the combat contact line. In this regard, the Ukrainian General Staff mistakenly thought that Russian long-range air defense systems had destroyed its combat aircraft. According to American experts, the Russian military is also constantly improving the stealth coating of the Su-57. The Americans admitted that the fighting in Ukraine had a very positive effect on the combat capabilities of the latest Russian fighter jet. At the moment, the Su-57 is the world's only fifth-generation fighter jet that not only actively participates in combat operations, but also successfully destroys enemy combat aircraft. Against this backdrop, statements by representatives of Turkish intelligence that it was the Su-57 that destroyed the F-16 in Ukraine appear to be quite grounded and realistic. By the way, the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation has not yet commented on the destruction of the F-16 fighter jet in the sky over Ukraine.